Oh yeah, check 1 2, check 1 2. Does my mic sound nice? Check 1. Does my mic sound nice? Check 2. Yes indeed. I believe the mic is sounding real nice right about now as we get into part 3 of the real reparations movement. All right. Hope you guys are learning something. Hope y'all seeing the differences between the National Reparations Convention, right? The National Reparations Convention and what we reported on What's the 411 News with the Road to Reparations that happened in Brooklyn, their tour, their convention. The National Reparations Convention happened in Atlanta, and the Road to Reparations, their convention happened in Brooklyn, New York. All right. So hopefully you're checking those out and you're checking the real reparations movement out so you can see what's really going on, what's the difference, and you can decide where you want to stand. All right. So we ain't going to leave it no more suspense, and we're going to get right into it, man. You're rocking with the best, no doubt. This is Thoughts of the Week podcast. Let's get it. You're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. Yes, indeed. So let's get into it, man. We're not going to waste no more of your time. Let's get into the real reparations movement. This is part 3. Let's get into it.
We have our brother Raheem Shabzz. Clap it up.
Peace and Black Power, family. Peace, love, and reparation. I only accept apologies in the form of reparation. Cut the check. When I think about the reparation movement, right? I think about a movement and not a moment. And what I think about is Queen Mother Moore, who started way back in the days and popularized the reparation movement. But before we go to her, we got to go to Callie House. Now the brother, he was just up here and he was talking about Callie House, right? She was a black woman that started the Ex-Slaves Mutual Relief and Pension Association. And this was in the 1800s. But if you want to go further back than that, we can go further back than that. And all these movements were started by a black woman, right? And then if you want to go, we can go to Chicago to the 3rd Ward. It was a sister named Dorothy Tillman. And she started a reparation movement. And what she did in the city, she said, she was an alderman. She said, in order to do business with this city, you have to show us where your money comes from. And if your money comes from the slaves, then they was able to sue. And that got started in 11 cities. We need to pick that back up, right? So the reparations is not a moment, it's a movement. And we gotta seize the moment while we in this movement. My personal commitment is not only to amplify the voice, my voice, but my commitment is to amplify everybody's voice, you know, because we all know that the choir is louder than the soloist, right? So it ain't just one individual, it's all of us. And all of us together, we gotta amplify the voice. What we really have to do when we come in the room, there's 2 types of people, right? There are those that check the temperature, and there are those that raise the temperature. I'm one of the people that's gonna raise the temperature and make the goddamn enemy sweat. Because we want our check, right? Well, in order to start teaching them about it, you gotta have the education, right? The only way you're gonna get an education is if we educate ourselves. So the number 1 thing is what we gotta do, we gotta stop sending our children to the open enemies. We gotta have those that look like us to educate our kids. They gotta see us.
Clap it up.
From our worldview and our eyes, right? Malcolm X told us we are the only people to allow the open enemy to educate our kids, right? We are the holders and the keepers of our self and responsibility. So our number one responsibility is to educate them. And in terms of reparations, we got to let them know, right, that this is a protracted movement. This ain't something that's going to happen overnight, but in the long run, it's going to happen. And the most revolutionary thing that we can do is to marry black. And I'm going to say peace and power, FBA all day. When it comes to incarceration, we have to go back to the beginning of it, you know what I mean? And it starts in the school system, the school to prison pipeline, which my documentary is about. And we know that they look at the 3rd and 4th grade reading level, right? And if you're not reading on grade level, by the time you're in the 3rd or 4th grade, there's a 75% chance you're going to end up in prison. And these prisons are sold on the stock market. When you go to these private prisons website, right, and you look at the ticker, you see the stock market on there. And they also have a motto: if we build it, they will come. So they look at this and they know how many prisons to build 10 to 15 years in advance. So what we have to do is we have to teach our children, we have to let them know who the open enemy is, and we have to educate them so they don't fall up in the school to prison pipeline.
Absolutely. Thank you. Give it up for our brother Raheem.
Peace, love, and reparations, family.
Vibing, yeah, me and my folks all good, that sun is shining. Ay, chillin' with my feet kicked up like I ain't trying. Yeah, this is what I want, tell me, yeah. Gangs out here, let's run it, yeah. 5 out here, 100, yeah. I've been on game like EA. Sippin' too soon, that pregame. Sign up on 2, that 3-way. I just went fast like we late. I just thank God I hit it. Talking all night, yeah, we straight. She stepped in like relay. It's on me like prepaid. If you ain't hip, you adios. I just feel lucky that particle. Getting that brain like auto.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. That was part 3 of the Real Reparations movement. And that was Raheem Shabzz. He talked about a little about Dorothy Tillman. He added a little bit more to Dr. Short when he was talking about the Cali House. And he injected Queen Mother Moore as well. So hopefully you're taking your notes, you're getting your education on, all right, and learning about these things. And like I said, it's going to get even hotter from here, all right? So stay tuned for the Real Reparations Movement Part 4, and we definitely going to get into it, and it's definitely going to get hotter. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned, all right? We appreciate y'all. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, share these videos out, comment. Feel free to comment if you want. And again, we're going to keep the Real Reparations Movement going, and we're going to continue this with Part 4, all right, of this series of the Real Reparations Movement. All right, you're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast. I'm gone. Peace. You're rocking with the best Thoughts of the Week podcast.